Hi, this is Mato. Welcome to my online chess lecture. In this video I will show you a game between Vladimir Fedoseev and Magnus Carlsen. This is a game for the FIDE World Cup 2021. Fedoseev had white pieces and he started with d4. Magnus Carlsen played knight to f6, c4, g6, white to move. Knight to c3 is the most played move, but Fedoseev played super sharp. h4, bishop to g7, knight to c3, d6, e4, knight to c6, d5, knight to e5, white to move. Bishop to e2 was played. If f4, then knight from e to g4, and black stands better. Back to our game. Bishop to e2 was played. h5, bishop to f4, castling, knight to f3, knight takes knight, check, pawn takes knight, c6, queen to d2, c takes on d5, c takes on d5, king to h7, a4, knight to d7, a5, black to move. In this position, Carlsen played f5, rook to a3. Let's take it back. If pawn takes pawn on f5, one line goes like this. Rook takes pawn. And now, if the bishop attacks the rook, then black does not move the rook. This was the plan. Knight to e5. And of course, white is advised not to take the rook because of knight to f3, check, winning the queen. And if in this position bishop takes on e5, then the rook takes bishop, check, black stands better. Back to our game. So Fedoseev played rook to a3, knight to e5, bishop to e3, black to move. Perhaps some players would play a developing move like bishop to d7. Do you agree? Carlsen sacrificed the pawn. f4 was played. Bishop takes on f4, bishop to d7, knight to d1, black to move. How would you continue? Perhaps fighting for the open file comes to mind. Rook to c8. Instead, there was a surprise. Carlsen played rook takes bishop, kaboom, the exchange sacrifice. Queen takes rook, bishop to h6, queen to g3, queen to f8. White is better materially. Knight to e3 was played. What's wrong with castling? Then bishop to f4, and after queen to g2, queen to f6, knight to e3, rook to g8 was a possible continuation. Back to our game. In this position, knight to e3 was played, bishop to f4, attacking the queen, queen to g2, rook to c8, rook to c3, rook takes rook, pawn takes rook, black to move. What is the best move for black in this position? Carlsen played queen to c8, very strong move. c4 was played. Let's take it back. If castling, then bishop to h3. Back to our game. This is the position. The question is king to d2 any good? This would offer white the best fighting chance. One line goes like this. Knight to c4, check. Bishop takes on c4, queen takes on c4, rook to g1. And white is using all his pieces. Back to our game. c4 was played. b5. a takes on b6 en passant. a takes on b6, white to move, queen to g1. After this move, white got in big trouble. Let's take it back. Fedoseev didn't want to castle because he would lose the exchange, but this would offer a better fighting chance than the game continuation. So in this variation, white king would be safer, although white would be still struggling. Back to our game. Queen to g1, queen to a8, king to f1, intending king to g2 in some variations. But not in this one. If king goes to g2, then queen takes bishop. Knight to g2, queen to a1 check, knight to e1, queen to b2, knight to g2. Let's take it back. If knight goes to d3, then knight takes on d3, bishop takes on d3, queen c3, bishop to e2, queen to d2, Zugzwang. What is white going to do in this position? Perhaps the best move in this position is this sad looking move, rook to h2. And black even doesn't have to take the rook. Back to our game. Knight to g2 was played. Queen to c1 check, knight to e1, queen to d2. Well, b5 also wins. One line goes like this. C takes on b5, bishop takes on b5, bishop takes on b5, knight takes on f3, winning the queen. Back to our game. Queen to d2 was played, queen to g2, king to g7, rook to g1, king to f8, queen to h1. White pieces are in the lockdown. On the positive side, they don't have to wear a mask. e6, rook to g3, e takes on d5, not taking the rook, e takes on d5, bishop to f5, rook to g1, king to f7, Carlsen torturing his opponent, rook to g3, knight to d7, the lockdown caused the rook to go to g5, saying, please take me. And finally, Carlsen got mercy on the rook and captured it with the bishop. This is what lockdown did to the rook. Pawn takes bishop. Black played a move when white resigned, and the move is knight to e5. Fedoseev resigned. For the entertainment purpose, I will show you just one line. Queen to g2, queen to c1, queen to g3, knight to d3, bishop takes knight, bishop takes bishop check, king to g2, queen takes knight, queen takes on d6, queen to f1 check, king to g3, queen to g1 check, king to h4, queen to h1 check, king to g3, h4, king to g4, bishop to f5 check, king to f4, queen to h2, x-raying the queen on d6, and after king to e3, queen takes queen, and I guess we can stop here. What a game! What do you think of this game? And that is all. I hope that you enjoyed watching this video. I wish you good luck with your chess, and bye for now.